This podcast is brought to you by Paleo Works, locally owned meal prep kitchen with a passion for paleo. Their goal is to make it easy for people to have the nutrition they need when they need it. They deliver a weekly menu of heat and eat paleo meals, athlete recovery meals, and bulk macro items for those of you counting your macros, as well as a variety of side items that can be added to your order. Their meals feature 100% local grass-fed beef, all natural and hormone-free range chicken, and pork. They have pickup locations in Nashville, Lebanon, Murfreesboro, Spring Hill, Mount Juliet, Columbia, Lawrenceburg, and Clarksville to make it easy to pick up your prepared meals. And they even have some delivery options around Nashville for a nominal fee. Paleo Works wants to make nutrition the easiest part of your day. All right, this week, as far as the competitions you need to know about, Battle of the Barbells registration is open for the teens and masters. If you know, this last weekend they had the team competition that happened at 3-Star CrossFit out in Mount Juliet. And in August, we are having a teens and masters competition, both scaled and RX divisions, at Trivium in Brentwood, Tennessee. So go to their website, check out more information, go ahead and register so that you can be a part of that. Hey, don't forget about the Barbell Voodoo private label. That's the place that you need to go for all your custom gear. Go ahead, try to stump us. See if there's something that we can't put your logo on for your gym, your box, or even your personal stuff. So give us a shout. You can find out more about that through the website barbell-voodoo.com. Also, please don't forget to subscribe to this podcast. Hit that like button, leave us a comment, let us know how we're doing. We're hoping you're enjoying it. I know that I am enjoying hosting these things, and I hope that you are getting something out of it every other week when we post one. On today's episode, I am joined with Jennifer Meade, and this conversation came about because of a previous conversation that we had after a Saturday morning workout. And we were sitting around at the box trying to regain our composure after getting whooped by a wad. And we started talking about body image. And it's something that I've written about on my blog. And it's something that she has had experience with and kind of dealing with in her professional life as well as growing up. And so I hope you enjoy this podcast. Jennifer Meade is a former Tennessee Titans cheerleader, and she's just got an incredible story to tell, and so I hope you enjoy it.
Hey, this is Rich Froning. You're listening to Barbell Voodoo Podcast.
So, welcome to the Barbell Voodoo Podcast. We are sitting here with Jennifer Meade at CrossFit Trivium in Brentwood, Tennessee. And today we got together because there was one Saturday workout where we were hanging out and started talking, and the issue of kind of like body image came up, and how, you know, that's been a struggle for her in her life, and I've had the same thing just as a guy, like, and so I thought that was a very interesting thing that we could bring onto the podcast and kind of hear her story about where she's been. She is a former NFL cheerleader. Turned CrossFitter and regular old awesome. And so she is here to kind of talk us through her story and about kind of moving through how she viewed herself into how she views herself now. And so welcome to the show, Jennifer. How are you?
Thanks, Oprah. I'm excited to be here.
You get a car and you get a car.
Yes, prizes.
Prizes everywhere. So we have a lot of people working out today. All over the place. So you're going to hear bangs. You're going to like that right there. You're going to hear the bike and the ski erg and the music. And so I hope you enjoy that along the way. It adds a background track to our life here at Trivium. Yeah. So Jennifer, if you could start out, like, were you always kind of athletic? Like, how did you kind of get into the whole fitness journey that you found yourself into to become a cheerleader?
So, age 3, I started in gymnastics. My parents enrolled me. My father actually bought a gymnastics facility in 1989.
Oh, wow.
And he owned that for over 20 years. and to this day still coaches gymnastics.
That's incredible.
He's almost 67 years old and still coaches down in Nolensville, competitive gymnastics. So that was something I did from the ages of 3 to 12. And gymnastics is a very dedicated sport. You go from school straight to gymnastics, and plus my parents owning the facility, I was there 7 days a week. And so when I got to middle school and there were boys and dances, I was like, okay, I need to back off gymnastics.
Yeah.
But I was still
little priority
always,
shift.
Yeah. I mean, huge parties in middle school. But I still continued tumbling most of my life, went to all-star cheerleading. So I always kept up a lot of my gymnastic skills. And then did track and field. In high school, loved high jump, was pretty good at that. Actually, I had a couple colleges reach out, and I think back now, it would have been cool if I would have gone to a small college and actually high jumped and done a sport in college to continue on, because once I got to college, I had no idea what working out was anymore.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of us grow up with coaches and people telling us what to do.
Yeah.
And then you get to college, and I didn't even know how to maintain a schedule, and so sometimes I would go to the gym and do the elliptical. So my 20s...
So what was your high jump?
I mean, 5'2", but I mean
that seems great to me. I don't.
qualified for regionals 2 years in Ohio.
That's awesome.
But then I choked opening height.
Did you really?
Both years.
That's awesome.
So
at least you're consistent.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So then my 20s basically was a lot of just random running, some yoga. We all went through that phase of the elliptical in the cinema room at the local gym.
Oh,
The 45 minutes watching the movie.
I love that.
Then some abs afterward.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So, and I'm lucky. I've always had a high metabolism. I'm 5'8". I've always been between 135, 145 pounds.
Okay.
So when I was 29, we moved to Nashville, and I use that term skinny fat to where I was still thin, but I was very out of shape, didn't like how I looked, and I'm thinking, okay, need a goal. So I got here, and I had some acquaintances that had been professional cheerleaders. I had some friends who had been predators, dancers, and I was like, you know what? What's going to motivate me to get in shape? How about being in a room with 200 people, you know, half-dressed?
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I'm going to do this.
Wow,
and so I tried out 3 times, and not a lot of people know that. It's a very difficult team to make. There's only 27 girls on the team.
Yeah.
So 2012 was the first year I tried out. Didn't make it past semifinals, and was devastated. I thought I had worked so hard. But really, I probably had only trained about 8 months. And, you know, coming from when you're out of shape, then trying to find like an 8-pack, it takes years. It's not going to happen.
Well, and there's not a program like Couch to Cheerleader.
No, and I was doing YMC classes to cheerleader at the time. Yeah. So, not there's anything wrong with that. I'm not going to. I just knew in the summer of 2012, I thought, you know what, I need to find something new. And CrossFit Trivium, which used to be Brentwood Hills, opened up I think October, November of 2012.
Okay.
And I had a couple people back, you know, when Instagram was new and Facebook who did do CrossFit. And I'm, what is this? And I'd seen the games on TV, still had no idea what it was. And somehow ended up at a free Saturday class. And I've been here now for over 5 years.
Oh, wow,
I've always been with the
OG,
baby.
Yeah.
So I dedicated the next, you know, 2 to 3 years training with CrossFit. And
so what was it like coming back for like the second tryout and then again not making like...
I mean, well, I've learned you have to break stuff into baby goals.
Okay.
So
baby goals.
Yeah, like not you know, eye on the prize was making the team, but the second time around, I just want to make finals.
Okay.
And the finals is like a big show at the Wild Horse Saloon, and that was just my goal.
Yeah.
So I made finals the second year, and I was truly happy. I was thrilled, and I didn't know if I was going to try out again. And then I happened to see the director, and she really encouraged me and really liked me because I came into NFL cheerleading older. I didn't make it until I was 32, where a lot of girls, you know, may make the team at 22. So I worked out 1 more year, trained really hard, really dedicated to my diet, and then May of 2014, I made the team.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So what was that environment like, being on a professional cheerleading.
Yeah. I mean, just like any sporting team, or maybe if you were in a sorority or fraternity, you're a rookie. It doesn't matter how old you are, and it's very...
So like hazing and stuff?
No hazing,
okay.
But you kind of have to earn your rights on the team.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I mean, and I was even the oldest person on the team coming in, and I was terrified.
Yeah.
Because you want to like make friends and get to know everyone.
So was that a stigma too, like being the oldest? Was that anything?
No, but
okay.
I'm grateful I did it at an older age. I enjoyed the experience.
Okay. As opposed to enjoying it too much, is that?
Yeah, just I'd gone through a lot of life phases that a lot of people haven't, and just I was just having to worry about going to work and going to practice.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad I did it.
Okay.
I think I would have been wild doing it at a younger age.
Oh, yeah. I mean, no doubt. You obviously probably gained some wisdom along the way before jumping into it.
Yeah.
So what's it like? Like, you're on the field, like, doing your thing. What's it like being in the stadium and doing that in conjunction with the game and all that's going on?
It's amazing. I will never forget my first preseason game was against the Packers, or was it the Vikings? One of those, but either way, we kind of hang out in the visitors tunnel, and the team ran out, and I was just starstruck. Those guys are just so big.
Yeah.
I mean, we get to see Colin at the gym, who's a former player, but when you see all of them together,
with pads on and everything,
they're gladiators. So I'll never forget that moment. Just like, oh my gosh! And your first year, your first year as a rookie, you really have no idea what's going on, and it's really a game of follow the leader. With your captain on the field. So by your second and third and on, you know what's going on, but it's just you're just a little deer in headlights.
Yeah.
And on opening day when there's 70,000 people in the stadium and just trying
to mess up
know your dances, know what's going on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So what's like the level of, like, this is not a full-time thing, right?
Yeah.
And so what are the expectations in terms of fitness and like what you're supposed to look like? How are you supposed to come into the game every week? Like what's behind the veil and all that?
Oh, yeah.
Like what's going on there?
Yeah, it's you work hard, you make the team, and then you're like, I've got it, and then you have to maintain it, the next 8 to 9 months.
What are you maintaining? Like
you
your
are
performance level? Like
everything. So you asked about it being part-time. So after you make the team, it is 5 days a week if you're a rookie. So June we call training camp. You're practicing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. There's rookie practice on Saturday, and on Fridays there's Fitness Friday at Brentwood High. So there's a fitness test at the end of the month that you have to pass to be able to cheer.
Oh, wow,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. And so luckily for me, I've been doing CrossFit. I love competition and, running the mile. There's like a step test, V-ups, push-ups.
Okay. Like in the stadium, you would run the stadium step test, that kind of stuff?
So we would work out. It was tough, though. I mean, we work out all the time in here, but when you throw in some shuttle runs, it gets pretty pukey. So then after training camp, what a lot of people don't know is that you do have to weigh in for a cheerleader. So every year you have a set goal weight.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, no way, why? Well, you're out on, the Jumbotron. There's, you could wake up Monday morning in Sports Illustrated online and Associated Press and Getty Images, and you want to see someone who is in shape. Like, let's put it that way. It's a very revealing outfit.
Okay.
You have to look good in it.
Yeah.
So now everyone's weights are just like what's good for you. Mm-hmm. And so my first year after doing CrossFit for 2 years, I had really thinned out. Like I was super lean, and all that chicken and vegetables paid off. So my rookie year was not hard. Well, as we know, with CrossFit, you tend to put on a lot of muscle.
Yeah.
So my second year, I think I put on another 2 pounds. And by my third year, I think my goal was about 140 pounds.
Okay.
So you have a 3-pound bubble over and under.
Okay.
And that's just for things going on in your life.
So you have around 6 pounds that you can weigh around.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
I tell you what, it was the worst. Weigh-in days were hard.
Yeah.
Because
So it's like every week. Every week
just
you
before
show?
games.
Oh,
so
just
maybe,
before every game?
Maybe about 12 a year. So
Okay.
maybe right before the games, and then just like check-ins, and depending what's going on. Especially for women, our weight fluctuates so
Sure.
easy depending on what's going on. So I mean, I should have kept track of how much I spent on juicing.
Oh, yeah.
Because when you have to lose 3 to 4, 3 pounds in a couple of days, it adds up. I never starve myself. I mean, juicing, you can argue is starving, but I would juice lots of water.
Sure.
But by my third year, it got kind of crazy, and there were a couple days where I had to go to Clarksville for work, and I turned up the heat really high.
You just sweat it out?
Just trying to sweat out the water. So I always made weight. I never went over, but we would weigh in about 8:45 at night because our practices were at night. And if you think about it, I mean, I get up at 5:15 in the morning, and then
you're starving yourself all day so you can make weight.
And I've never had an eating disorder, but it really got me thinking about people who have gone through that and struggled through that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just for me, terrifying to what I was trying to do to myself.
Yeah.
And then thinking about, wow, like this is a disease that people, struggle with and, get some really sick. So
they didn't really care necessarily outside of like those rookie camps and stuff. They wanted your weight to be on. It wasn't necessarily a fitness thing. So if you happen to gain muscle along the way, that was still a negative thing for you.
Yeah, because my third year, when I got up to 140 pounds, I went and got my body fat tested, actually by Jamie Free when he still had his other business. And my body fat was only 14.4%.
Oh, wow.
So there I am with a low body percent, but I was 140 pounds. And I mean, I could not get any weight off of me.
Wow. Yeah.
I was eating good. So, I mean, I came from NFL cheerleading that can sometimes have not the best body image. Like you're trying to get to the point of that. But then I had CrossFit, which is such a positive body image and like muscle and girls, that put on weight and all this. So it was hard to live in both the worlds.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
Like, oh no, my traps are getting too big, but I love CrossFit and I never wanted to quit CrossFit.
So would they be that meticulous, like look at you and go, okay, this part of you is out of proportion and you need to...
It could, not too specific, but I mean, I just love CrossFit so much, and there was no way I was ever... I mean, I like other things too. I love yoga and Pilates, but for me, CrossFit's just what I love. So this whole past year was my first year not cheering, and I called it the year I ate whatever I wanted. I didn't realize that I really didn't eat a lot for 3 years or drink a lot.
Yeah.
And because it would be like grabbing a Kind bar with coffee on the way to practice because I worked all day. And you're like, well, no wonder I was so skinny because I worked full time and I did this every night. And then we had games where you were really watching what you're eating because you're about to be in a crowd. Or the next weekend you were getting ready for a weigh-in. So it was a pretty crazy...
Not the healthiest of lifestyles with it.
If you did it right, it could be healthy. But again, I think doing it older, your metabolism isn't what it was 10 years ago.
Okay.
So, some of the young girls can come in and eat whatever they want and they're fine, where I had to work at it.
Yeah,
It was challenging for sure.
I bet. So how have you come out of that mentality in terms of health and wellness being a number in terms and moving into a CrossFit world where it's, health is kind of registered on almost ability more than anything.
Absolutely.
Like what can you do? How can you move? All those kind of things.
If you talk to, not all cheer teams do weigh-ins. We just happened to, it was the best way for accountability.
Okay.
But if you talk to any former girls on my team, it takes a long time to not associate yourself with that number.
Yeah.
It sticks with you. I mean, I weighed myself every single day with a dry erase on the mirror, just every day keeping track of it because because you had to.
So you came in staring at those numbers every single time you even were at home.
So the past year, like I said, I'm like a full year out of it, and I tried not to weigh myself. And finally, a couple months ago, my scale actually died, and I'm like, all right, this is it. Like this is a sign.
I'm out.
From the gods. I need to not weigh myself anymore. But I occasionally do. And a couple weeks ago, I got on the scale, and I'm like 153 pounds, which if you think of it's that's like 13 pounds where I was a year ago, but it's still, my clothes still fit. Nothing's been like crazy, but I'm coming in here.
But how does that mess with you, like emotionally and mentally?
It's sometimes hard. Like, oh, should I be 135 pounds or should I be back at that 140? Like, I'm not even at my high end, which was 143. Like, it's hard, but the amount of energy I put into all that, I just don't think I could do it again.
Sure.
Where now, I come here. I work out all the time. I say I eat about 70% good. But like last night I ordered Chinese. Yeah. Because I love Chinese food.
Oh yeah.
And I really
you're speaking my language right now. Yeah.
So it's tough. And then I think about all the actresses out in Hollywood and like, we're so influenced by Instagram and the be thin and be fit. And it's just thrown in our faces every day.
Yeah.
That's why I'm so grateful I have CrossFit to come in somewhere where it's like safe. And it is.
Sure,
it's based on ability, and you can come in here and do a great workout and maybe PR something, and it's not based on what you look like in the mirror.
That's so tough. I mean, you came out of an environment where you're looking at numbers every day on your bathroom mirror. Then you're coming still, like when you're out of it, you still have social media where you're overwhelmed with images of like, I don't know, what you should be eating, what you could be looking like, what other people that you may have even cheered with are doing and looking like now, and you go, man, I don't...
Some days I'll delete Instagram and Facebook from my phone because my mom the other day...
Just to get your head right?
My mom's on Instagram, and I think she follows 10 people, but she's like, that person looks so fake, and I have to explain to her, I'm like, a lot of Instagram is fake. If you open up your search, it's just filters, and a lot of it is fake.
Yeah, you got to choose a proper filter.
Yeah. You do. I'm not putting up a bad picture.
No, I'm not posting a bad. I want people to see how awesome I am, regardless of the truth behind it.
And that's why, I just love all the elite CrossFit women who are out there, and I follow all of them, but the ones who speak to me as far as health and beauty and what's attainable, and
when they put up real stuff, like they don't put up just all the highlights. They'll be like, oh, I messed up today or whatever. Like here's a bad lift, and I appreciate that a lot. Yeah.
But I feel like 2018, I said it's going to be, shout out to Paleo Works. I started ordering their food again. Just, it's just nice to get home from work and have something there that is just a good dinner you're going to have. But I think 2017 was about getting a healthy relationship with food again. Like, it's okay to eat pizza. And drink some beer and not have to worry about it, affecting your life. But now I'm trying to hone in a little bit.
Moving from 70-30 to 80-20 kind of thing. But I think I've only eaten fast food twice so far this year. And I didn't drink the entire month of January. We're not out of January yet.
I know. I've got a couple more days.
At least when we're recording this. This will come out much later. But so far you got a few more days. Going the distance.
So, and I know I've had a lot of girls come up and ask me, hey, I want to try out, and what is your advice? And I kind of had to take a step away for a couple months before I could talk to someone, because I was
at least in a healthy way.
In a healthy way, and come back. And because how do you explain to someone you have to be in the best shape and this pretty much the skinniest you've ever been in your life, and keep that going all year long while you work, and some of the girls have been mothers.
Live life,
it's tough.
I can't imagine having to be so dialed in, at least with everything. Regardless of the number thing, but you're at any point going to be on something big, you know, whether that's just in the stadium or like circulated in print.
And you can email, and there's appearances all year long too. So there may be something coming up, like during the fires that happened in Gatlinburg.
Okay.
You know, we get an email. It's like, hey, do you want to work the Dolly Parton telethon? And I got to do that. So these are like things that come up that where you have to be ready at any point to go have your picture taken and possibly be on video. And,
I can't imagine that pressure. See, I think for guys, it's somewhat different but the same. You know, like we have the emotional attachment to everything. Like we see people that are way more fit, way more, you know, like I'm even looking around this room just being like, okay, yeah, like maybe one day, you know, like I could look like that, or I might have him be, you know, I mean, like we're thinking that, and you know, so many of us even do the scale game, you know, like where we're weighing every day, not for figuring it out, but just for like, there's an ideal weight that I want to be like. Absolutely. You know, we're still looking on Instagram just like everybody else, going, oh man, that guy lifted more than me, that guy looks better than me, look at his biceps, that's better, you know, than me, like I wonder if I can get biceps like that. And so, you know, it's not a girl thing. Like we think about it as being like a girl thing all the time, like, oh, girls are always looking at everybody's bodies. I'm like, no, I'm looking at everybody's bodies too. Like I'm checking out and being like, well, okay, my calves look better than him at least. You know, like, and it's tough to have a place where that's okay to say that. You know, because I don't know what it's like to be a girl, but as a guy, like you can't sit around with your buddies and be like, man, I would, you know, really like to have that guy's arms one day. Yeah. You know, they'd punch you in the face and be like, will you be a man? Yeah. You know, and then there's that whole concept of being raised as walk it off, be a man. Yeah, absolutely. You know, like toughen up your chest. You're supposed to be able to do these things. Like, and what I've loved and enjoyed about the CrossFit community is being in an environment where it's like, no, you can like do your thing and then come in here and like work hard. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, and we have these community workouts around here where we have all walks of life. I mean, like there was a guy taking pictures in the middle of his WOD last weekend.
Yeah,
you know, because that's what he does.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what he does, and that's his deal. And then there's other people that are like, I'm gonna kill everyone in this gym, you know, like with my fitness, you know, like I'm finishing first, even though there's no trophy today, you know, and like everything in between, where you know.
Well, that's like you also speak about finding that healthy relationship with CrossFit too, to where, I mean, I'm past year 5, and a lot of people in this gym call me casual CrossFit because you know, I love this sport more than anything. But like some days I try, and then some days I'm just here because, you know, it's my outlet, it's my therapy. Like I gotta come in here for my hour every day and just move.
Well, at some point it kind of shifts. Like especially like at my age, like I'm gonna do good for today. You know,
absolutely.
And it may not as be good as like last year. Yeah. But today we're gonna see what the max is. You know, like when there's a workout, it's always like, "What's your 1 rep max?" And I'm like, "I don't know. We're gonna see what it is today." Yeah. Like.
Well, last year I was finally. I turned 35 last March, so I finally hit that master's status. That's been life changing.
Is that right? Yeah.
It's like no more pressure. I don't feel it at all.
Not competing with the 20-year-olds anymore.
I mean, like once in a while I can come in here if the workout's right. I can come in here and get one of those.
Your sweet
20-year-olds, like you know.
Yeah.
But I don't care. I mean, I don't care anymore. Like it's fine. Like I gotta do like what's my ability and what I can do.
So how does it feel to be where you were to be what it is now? Like you're coming in, you're going to do you're going to be you feel great, you want to build people up. Like it's a completely different mentality than like, I got to get in here and sweat enough to where like I'm 3 digits lower on the scale, like kind of thing. Like how's your world different? And what do you think is better about it now? Or is there anything negative about it? Or?
No, I think it's all good. I mean, immediately the second we call it retiring from cheerleading, everyone's like, oh man, you can come in here every day now and be full time again. And everyone was so supportive through everything. And I think a lot of people were shocked to learn about the weigh-ins and just everything I went through. Yeah. People just had no idea that was it.
Yeah, I mean, how would you even know? I mean, it's like, you know, wrestling meet. Every week that there's a home game, you know?
Yeah. So it's been neat to share my experience because a lot of people are in here for different reasons, and you know, CrossFit does everyone's body a lot different too.
Sure.
You know, like I said at the beginning, I really thinned out, and then I started, bulking is our cliche word. I mean, I'm so huge, by the way. It's intimidating.
All the protein shakes and everything. Yeah, you really.
So now I just
like
really,
Arnold in a girl's body. Yeah.
So now my degree is in gerontology, and so I've always worked.
It's in what?
It's gerontology.
What is that?
It
sounds incredibly fancy.
Well, it's the scientific study of aging.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So CrossFit for me has another part where I've worked with seniors for, I guess I've been in the workforce for like 13 years now.
Okay.
And so seeing people age, that's like pretty much the only people I've worked with.
Yeah.
How important all these functional movements are and our health and wellness.
Uh-huh.
So I really, hi Jamie. So I really think for myself when I'm maybe not PRing, not having a good workout, it's like, all right, Jennifer, you're here for, this is your one life. You're here for your fitness. You're here for your health. And when hopefully, God willing, you're 80 years old, you're able to do all the functional things of your life.
Yeah. So have you noticed any correlation in your studies and in your work about how CrossFit is helping the aging process? Because Glassman's big deal, is like we're going after disease and we're going after cancer. Like we want people to be able to, like one of the first talks I heard coming into CrossFit, like over 4 years ago now, was about how don't you want to be able to get up if you fall down when you're old? Don't you want to be able to get out of a chair without making that awkward noise?
I've gone to my parents' house and I'll make my mom sit down and I'll be like, can you stand up without using your arms? And she can do it. And I'm like, all right. Because not a lot of us mobility has become so huge in CrossFit too.
Oh,
and,
absolutely. Yeah.
All of us take for granted just putting our arm up and putting a sleeve on our jacket, or for women being able to brush our hair, where time after time, if you don't work that.
I mean, I got to get my hair on point too. I mean, I'm
right?
just saying. I mean, whatever.
So we don't think about the challenges that one day you may go to try to put your arm in a coat and you don't have the flexibility to even do that. So it's translating CrossFit to just everyday activities, being able to get in and out of a car, being able to pick up your groceries and all the things we take for granted right now.
Well, I mean, I even just think about it my grandmother most recently basically died because she fell down. She just couldn't recover.
Yeah, was it
from
a broken
how she,
hip?
No, she hit her head.
Gosh.
There's a couple other things. I mean, she did break quite a few bones. But that's real life,
Absolutely.
And so I wonder what kind of development could have happened if intervention happened, earlier, how she could have built up something. And I mean, she was older. I mean, it wasn't as if she was some kind of spring chicken.
Yeah. And I think it's a generational thing too. And I know we were dogging social media earlier, but now there's the awareness of the Fitspo and just all the information about nutrition and working out. We have so much access to it, and
well, almost too much. I mean, a lot of ways.
Yeah, true. Well, Netflix is one of the reasons. I learned about. I watched every single health food documentary on Netflix, and that really got me interested in it. Just for myself, you're in America, we're not taught Nutrition 101 growing up. I mean, I watched, what was the scary one, Food Inc.?
That was one.
I was hysterically crying through it too because of all the animals, and I think I freaked out and went pescatarian for a year and a half.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's a good one. A year and a half.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, they put those little baby chicks on the conveyor belt, and I just started crying.
Yeah.
But I mean, did I eat eggs this morning? Yes, I did.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, definitely. A lot of eggs. Granted, they were organic and cage-free.
Yeah, for sure. They were happy.
No GMOs.
They were happy little chickens.
But I mean, our food industry is based on money, not food.
Mm-hmm.
And that's greatly impacts our nutrition.
Yeah, and I think CrossFitters can get that bad, annoying rap, but I really try to educate my friends and family as much as I can.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you've inspired a lot of people through what you've done, and I even still have people are just you've helped me want to work out or want to eat better, and it's baby steps with everything.
Oh yeah.
I give the example with coffee. If 5 years ago, I would drink coffee with, the fun creamers and all the
all the
sweet
flavored
ones. Where now,
creamers, yeah.
and I eventually took it down step by step, and now I can drink a black or with almond milk. So it's just I couldn't
black
do
coffee is always the way to go.
I
So
couldn't
good.
do it overnight. So it's just like with anything
Yeah.
that you're eating or doing, you gotta break it down.
I've had so many conversations with people about coffee. Like
Yeah.
I'm a huge coffee person, like roast your own beans kind of like
Whoa,
coffee person.
that's
Like
intense.
I'm intensely on this, and so I would tell people who are going like looking at Whole30 or whatever, like that's generally around where the majority of people, at least in my environment, go, I don't know if I can do this coffee thing. Like they're okay with Whole30
no.
except for the coffee thing.
No.
I'm like, no, just trust me. I'm like, you will not go back. I was like, once you go with dark black
Yeah.
coffee and you're buying good beans and roasting, and not roasting them, but brewing them correctly.
Yeah.
And I would have to go like to their house and I would do like a coffee like demonstration, like help them like figure out what flavor they like the best on a brewing technique.
Yeah.
And so I would do that, and then once they would shift over, they'd be like, oh, I'm done. Like, that's what I want.
Yeah.
They were like, you're right, it tastes better. Like, there's more flavor in coffee than I ever thought imaginable, like, and all these things. But I was just talking to somebody this morning after church that she was like, we have the same birthday. She's a day ahead of me, but we're all like, I turned 39 this year. She turns 59.
Oh wow.
And so she's a year going to 60. I'm a year going to 40, which I have big goals going to be fit by 40. And she was like, I just don't know. I've been thinking about it. And I said, that's what people do. They just say thinking about it, but that just really means no, I'm not going to do anything or change anything. And she was like, oh, don't be hard on me. I'm like, I'm not being hard on you. It's just reality. You either say, I'm going to do something about it, or we say, I'm going to think about it.
Yeah.
Which means I'm not going to do anything.
That's what we would say, like, while we were on the team. It's like, you can always get up earlier,
Yeah.
You can always get up earlier.
Yeah, I mean, can't is not something that should be in anybody's vocabulary who wants to change. I mean, otherwise you don't want to change.
Mm-mm.
You're not looking for anything to be different if you're willing to limit that.
Jamie is distracting Jacob.
This is a creeper central in here in the box.
Well, even when I would juice, I don't know if I did a 3J juice ever, but I
The
always
what? What did you say?
when I was juicing,
Oh,
trying to lose weight, just for weigh-ins, I would always have to keep the coffee. I could never. No.
I mean, how do people go out without coffee? I don't understand anti-coffee people, but that's just me.
It's so good.
I've had more caffeine today than probably a small village needs to, but
We are tall.
those are my problems. Yeah,
You're
that's
so- it's 'cause
it.
you're
I can
tall.
take more caffeine because of my size. That's probably true.
Yeah.
I always say that with medication. Like, I can take like 1,600 milligrams of ibuprofen if it.
I don't know.
That's what I used to say. I don't even take Advil
Just,
anymore. I don't
just
even take
Google
anything.
it. I'm
Yeah.
sure. Google will tell you what to
It'll be
do.
fine. It'll be fine. Just do your best. Well, and I think like there's a train going by right now if you hear a rumble. But I think the whole body image thing is what I've appreciated so much about CrossFit. You take people from all walks of life,
Yep.
and you're not going, this is what you should look like. It's let's work out and see what your body does.
Absolutely.
It's a completely different mindset than you need to look like Brooke Inns.
Yeah.
Like, follow her on Instagram so you can look like her one day. Well, no, you do what you can with what you have, and we're going to help you. We're going to walk alongside you in this. We're going to encourage you. In fact, every class you come to, there's going to be an entire class that's going to cheer for you and get behind you to see what happens.
Yeah.
I remember we had a month-long, what we called an essentials class when I started CrossFit. And so there was a woman in my class that was going through in June of 2014, I think, is that right? Maybe, something like that. And I remember her kept riding the coach. She was like, I don't want to get bulky. I don't want to come in here and look like some football player.
Yeah.
And she was a thick lady.
Yeah.
There was no bulking that was going to happen beyond what she already was experiencing. And as a big guy, I feel like I have room to talk on that. Like I was bigger than she was, probably still am. But she ended up just quitting because she was so worried about bulking up.
I've seen that happen over the years.
And the coach was like, listen, your body is going to do what it's going to do. Like you're gonna form into whatever your body is made to be.
Absolutely.
Through the workout that you're doing. Like you'll be fine. And I wonder how many people have come across that and then just been like, nah, I don't believe that. Cause I've seen it. I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
You know, like people have worked out and their body has changed and morphed, and all of a sudden they're like, I really like what's happening.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I never even thought about
Absolutely.
like this would be like this. Like for me, as I've dropped weight lately, I've been noticing things on my body that I like.
Yeah.
You know, not the whole thing.
Yes.
Like the whole package isn't there, but like, you know, like I can start seeing shoulders coming out,
Yep.
like where it's not just like smooth.
Yes.
You know? And I'm like, that's really cool.
It
You know,
is.
like I can start to see some bicep in there. Like
Yeah.
that's pretty sweet. You
And
know.
I think women, again, we look in the mirror, we think of Instagram, and
Yeah.
some people think like, oh, I'm starting to look like a bodybuilder, or I look, you know, and
Uh-huh.
it's like, but we talk. I love Brooke Ence, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I love her.
I think she is awesome. I think we could be really great friends.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
But it would be a super creepy start.
Yeah.
And so I
She's
probably should stay
someone
away.
who it's like genetically since the day she was born, she's had like an 8-pack, and that's just how she's built.
Yeah.
And I know there's that other elite girl out of California. I think Jamie Joyce, her name is something like that.
Okay.
You know, she's made it to the games a couple times, and she posts all the time like she can't get an 8-pack. She's just a little fluffier.
Yeah, there
But
was
you
an
know,
article that I think CrossFit put out
Yeah.
about her this last
I mean,
week
and
or
I
so.
love that because she's like, all right, I'm gonna go out here and kick everyone's butt, and I don't have an 8-pack. And
I think
that's
she was
all
even
right.
talking about how she has been. What's it called when they attack you online?
Like trolls.
Yeah, like she's had that problem of
Yeah.
people being like, "Oh, you're
Well,
so thick, you're not really fit,"
And,
like
and
stuff like
Camille
that.
LeBlanc Bazinet, I mean, she kind of jokes about she has like a little pooch in her tummy, but you know, I mean, how can you make fun of her when,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, and you're like, oh, she's just like me. She struggles with, you know, her stomach. So,
yeah. It's incredible. I mean, it's just hate is gonna hate.
yes,
In the words of the prophet Taylor Swift, you just
Yes.
gotta shake it off.
totally shake it
You know,
off.
gotta move past it. Well, that's fantastic, and it's just nice to be able to openly talk about.
Yeah, I think
that.
it's very healthy to be able to talk about all this and not keep it in. Like, I come
Yeah.
in, I'm like, oh, I don't like how this looks. Like, that's, I mean, it's healthy
Sure.
to get it out there, but
Yeah.
then be around other people that can.
Well,
you
and
know,
it's what you do with that information,
Yes,
which is important. And so, like, if you come in and go, I don't like this, and then the rest of the day you've changed your life because of that one thing. Like you've decided, like, I'm only gonna eat like all my lean meats from now on. I'm not gonna have
Yeah.
any steak, like
Yeah.
whatever. Whatever it is. Like you've suddenly started beating yourself down,
I know.
as opposed to what can I do to build myself up? Like completely different mindset.
Yep.
But what you do with the information that you're gathering about yourself or from
Yeah.
outside sources
Yeah.
is really
Yeah.
crucial, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Not from a random person on Instagram or a random post. Instagram.
So what do you think you do? Do you think you have habits that you've developed that help you to stay in that healthy mindset?
Yeah, I'm a grazer when it comes to eating. I kind of eat on the hour, and so at work. For
Oh, I thought
7
you were like talking like you go to a party and you don't get a plate. That way you don't have to worry about how much you ate. You just kind of graze on it all night. That's not the same thing.
I'm lucky. I can eat the same thing every day from
Yeah.
7 to 3:30. Like, and I've done it for years. I have like my eggs at 7 a.m. Then I have a banana at 8 a.m. I
Yeah.
have some nuts and then watermelon. And now I probably eat too much fruit, but I've just like I love fruit. I eat
Sure.
watermelon every day. I eat blueberries every day, and you know. Back when I first started the trial process, I had the Fitness Pal app, and especially after you get your level 1 and you're all the information about the zone diet and the 30, 40, 30, the fats and
Sure,
the carbs
yeah.
and all the
A lot of options out
all the
there.
macro information. Well, I did it for years, and I would try to switch stuff up, and I realized I don't like a lot of protein.
Okay.
I just don't like. I'll eat it sometimes, but I struggle with it, and I like fruit, and I'll eat vegetables, and I was trying to obsess changing my diet over food I didn't like.
Oh yeah.
So it's just over the years I've learned what works for me, because a lot of people will come into the gym and say, what do you do? What should I do? And I'm like, well, I'm not
Everybody's
a professional.
different, yeah.
And I said, I tried a lot of different things. I did Fitness Pal. I educated myself. I did the zone diet for a while after getting my L1. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I just have finally figured out what's good for me.
Sure.
And then be able to eat Princess Hot Chicken and Chinese, which I did yesterday.
Oh, hot chicken.
It was a bad Saturday.
I like anything that's hot. They're like spicy hot. That sounded creepy otherwise. But yeah, I mean, and for me, like with my issues with food, like my emotional attachment to it, my need for like, when it's my drug of choice. Like I had to put my food in the hands of someone else.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so like I have to rely on Jamie with his programming to eat what I'm supposed to eat, and it's not important to me.
Yeah.
Like I have the same breakfast and the same snacks every single day. It doesn't bother me. I love it. I still look forward to breakfast, even though it's the exact same thing I had yesterday.
Yeah.
Just because I love it. I love my eggs and bacon.
Yeah.
Like, it's just,
one thing I like to do now, last May, my husband, my mother-in-law, and my sister-in-law, we decided to do 0 added artificial sugar for like 25 days. And even that, someone who I've been analyzing it for years, I was like, oh my gosh, something will say 0 sugar, but then you go to the ingredients, and there's like the 50 other names for sugar.
Yes.
There'll still be sugar in it. And so that was another eye-opening thing. And through that, I quit buying bars. I quit buying Laura bars and Kind bars, because those were crack. I'd eat like 6 a day.
Well, and what it does to your body is the same effect.
You're like, oh my
almost.
gosh, there's huge amounts of sugar in it. So that's one thing I did. And January, I just did, I didn't drink for the month. Not that I'm a big partier, but I was like, all right, I just need something coming in. So I think February I may do something else. I'm not sure yet. But I think I pretty much I've got it down. I'm not going to eat terrible every day. But what are like little itty bitty things I can do or try to, change up my diet? And so, yeah.
Perfect. Well, and the biggest battle of it all is all that happens, in between your ears, trying to figure out mentally who you are and being happy with that and being excited about where you're going, as opposed to self-defeating, and self-isolating and getting yourself in a bad place. And that's a huge battle. And, I don't know that it's something we can do alone. Did you have people that were kind of with you along on this journey?
Yes, I was very lucky. When I said I was going to I was going to try out to be an NFL cheerleader, some people throw that out there and people are like, why would you want to do that? Or what? Why? But I was very lucky. Everyone was super supportive.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah.
I was very lucky because I don't think everyone has it. Some girls I know have tried out and didn't even tell anyone they were going to because they were kind of embarrassed to tell someone that they wanted to do that. Where I think it's important to tell people. You have to put your goals out there and let people know so they can support you along the way. Because if you just keep it hidden,
it adds accountability too, to what you're doing, and that's something that I've found that is vital to everything that I'm trying to do in my life. I just keep it out there, whether it's embarrassing or not. I think my last post was super humbling and embarrassing for me personally, just about how I failed over a weekend, but I had to put it out there because one, I want people to have hope that mess ups aren't life determining.
Absolutely.
But also the fact that it's part of the journey, and that didn't stop me. I'm back on, and I'm still moving forward. And I think that's important for people because people then jump into that and be like, hey, we've been there. Let's keep going.
Yeah,
I had a few texts on the next morning after I posted that. One of them was like, don't eat shit today. I was like, perfect.
Yeah,
Thank you for doing that.
It is. I think it's fun when you get friends and family involved, especially if you're working on the same thing, I was talking about earlier, just so you have people to talk to. Where I'm like, oh my, today sucks.
Yeah.
We're struggling.
Can I have a whole chocolate cake today? Is that cool?
Yes.
No. Oh, okay. All right, I'll go do something else then.
Just stand at the perimeter of the grocery store. It's a safe place.
Just the outside.
Just the outside.
Except when I need my tortillas. But anyways. All right. Well, we'll wrap it up here. But I want to say thank you for being on it. Thank you for being vulnerable enough to talk about
Thank you.
Body image and your kind of story about going through that in a professional level. You were in it where body image is everything, and very soul crushing at the same time, and then coming out of that into.
It made me cry. There was maybe some tears.
There were some tears. Well, all right. Well, thank you for being on here, and this will be awesome. Hopefully, people will be able to relate, and be able to just stay on task and kind of get back in the game. Maybe even heard something today that mentally will help them shift over to a good and healthy way. So thank you for being on it.
All right, thanks, Jacob.
All right, see ya. Hey, once again, thanks for listening to the podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. Sorry for all the background music, but that is recorded in an active box, and so it got a little loud, but I hope you were able to hear all the content well. Hey, be sure to go visit our website. We would love to have you visit, check out all the new merchandise, and also take a click over to the private label section and see how we can be a part of what's going on in your world. So go to barbell-voodoo.com. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.